Hello friends, welcome to the first lecture on economy for combined group B and group C exams. Okay, so in this economy session, I will be covering prelims as well as mains. In the previous sessions, we have understood the syllabus, what the syllabus is, okay, what are the different posts under group B and group C, fine, and what is the pattern of the exam. Just a revision, we have prelims, mains, and only for PSI you will be having interview as well as a physical test. So prelims and mains is going to be, these two stages are going to be common for all the exams. You will be having prelims and mains for each and every exam, each and every post under group B and group C. In this prelims and mains, economy forms a very important topic for your exam, which has literally a weightage of 15 to 20%, whether it's prelims or mains. Why I would say literally 20% is because many of the current affairs, many of the current affair bits, questions are also based on economy. So economy is very important for you. Hence, understanding economy becomes very important. Now, just to give you a brief idea about economy, what economy is, okay, and then we'll start with the syllabus part. Okay, see, under economy you'll be having lots of subtopics. Okay, the major subtopics in economy being national income, public finance, then concepts of poverty, unemployment, then you have the 5-year plans, then you have the financial part in which you will be having RBI, banks, financial intermediaries, then also you'll be having the inflation part, the industries part, fine, and much more, many of the other topics, even the agriculture economics part, the agriculture, but only with respect to economy. So you'll be having these major topics under group B and group C exam. Fine. Now, I want to make it very clear, very clear. If you want to score in economy, you are going to follow two perspectives. One, be very clear with the concept. Conceptually, your understanding has to be up to the mark. Okay, that will happen through the lectures. I'll make sure that you're conceptually very clear. Okay, conceptual, all concepts I will be dealing in the class. I will be repeating the concepts. So just see to it that you are very well aware of the concept. And second thing is about the factual data. Okay, as I reiterate every now and then that for factual data, whenever I say this is a factual data you should mug up, kindly note the factual data separately in a separate notebook, whether it's economy, polity, history, geography, whatever you feel that this is a factual data, I need to mug it up, write it in a separate notebook and start revising this notebook after every 2 to 3 days. Okay, 2-3 दिन गया, okay, 2-3 दिवस गेले, pick up the notebook, revise it. In the next 2-3 days, we will be adding more factual data to this. After 3-4 days, pick up the notebook, revise fully. Again, after 3-4 days, whatever you add up plus the previous factual data, you're going to mug it up. Okay, so be very clear with two things. One, conceptual understanding in economy, and second, about the facts. Okay, if you follow these two, definitely you will be getting very good marks in economy section of the exam. Okay, so these are different topics you have in economy. And one thing again, a word of caution over here, whenever we learn economy, economics, what we have is that it is a slightly different subject, a different approach than other subjects. Okay, why it is a different approach than other subjects? Because in other subjects you can compartmentalize. You can compartmentalize in such a way that this section of that subject will not have any relation with this section of the subject. For example, in biology you study the parts of flower, you also study the digestive system. Okay, so you can compartmentalize. This is botany, this is zoology. दोनों separate आहे, दोन्ही separate आहेत, काही एकमेकांशी संबंध नाही. Okay, they don't have any relation with each other. Fine. Even what happened in Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, ancient or medieval history, or even what happened in 1857, okay, will not have a direct bearing with what happened in Quit India movement. These are totally different. So you can compartmentalize. Okay, in science you can compartmentalize as physics, chemistry, biology. In physics you can compartmentalize as what is gravity, one is light, one is electricals. Okay, so all these are separate and they totally have a separate this thing. In a sense, understanding of one topic in these subjects does not have a bearing on the understanding of other topic in this subject. You not understanding parts of flower does not mean you will not be able to understand the digestive system or the circulatory system in human beings. Okay, they are totally different. But this is not the case in economy, where each and every aspect is related to each other. Okay, each and every aspect is related to each other. Fine, they are interlinked. So this is the word of caution over here, that whenever you study, you are not going to study everything at one go. Okay, but when we study topic wise, this topic will have some relation with the next topic. So if while teaching one topic I go for a relation with the next topic, don't panic. Okay, don't panic, be calm. Okay, in the next topic again we'll be coming with that relation. So if I am teaching national income and there is some reference to public finance, or there is some reference to RBI with respect to national income, fine, or some of the concepts of the industries, okay, don't panic. When we do industries, I'll again correlate it with the previous topic. Okay, this is the only thing you are going to be careful in economy, because economy ऐसा नहीं कर सकते कि हम compartment से पढ़ेंगे, नहीं. Economy is interrelated. That is the only what would I say? That is the only hurdle which you have to cross. Okay, that is the only hurdle. So just be aware of these things. Once you know that, okay, fine, this is the approach I have got, then economy is very, very, very simple. Economy is very simple. So we'll start with the session now, the teaching part now. This is the introductory part. Now we'll start with the teaching part. Okay, we'll go ahead with the basic concepts of economy today. What are the basic concepts? Okay, we'll understand each and everything. So what is this economy about? What is this economy about? Economy is nothing but it's... One second, I think... Okay, are we connected back? Yes, okay. Okay, activities which will involve exchange of money. Okay, and these activities are known as economic activities. Now, what are economic activities? All activities for which there is exchange of money, that is economic activities. See, we do lots of work. Okay, when I go home, I am tired, my mother will or my wife will give me tea, coffee. She has done some work. Okay, she has done some work, but do I pay her for that work? No, I don't pay her for that work. So that activity cannot be termed as economic activity. Economic activities as such are those activities wherein the primary objective is earning income. I am delivering a lecture here. Why? My primary objective is that I should get a salary so that I can take that salary home and I can manage my expenses at home. Fine. So this is an economic activity. Okay, so economic activities are those undertaken with the primary objective of income, such as production, trade, or services. So what are non-economic activities? Performed out of love, affection, or some social responsibility without any intention of earning money, such as household work, charity. Okay, these are non-economic activities, and economy relates with economic activities. Okay, so in economy, what we are going to study is all about economic activities. Fine. Okay, so today we are going to go for the basic concepts and what we are going to go through in the future sessions, that we'll understand, that perspective we'll understand. So there are three fundamental economic activities, okay, which economy is concerned of: production, consumption, and distribution. Production, consumption, and distribution. These are the three economic activities about which the whole economy syllabus, your whole economy syllabus will be concerned with. Okay, so these are the three economic activities which we will be dealing with, will be learning. So there will be various topics and subtopics, but they will be broadly classified under these three itself: production, consumption, and distribution. So these activities together, they form the basis of any economy: the production, consumption, and distribution. So these activities, whenever I say activities now, they have to be economic activities. Okay, so these economic activities, production, consumption, and distribution, will form the basis of any economy. See, economic activity. So production has to be with respect to economic activity. Consumption has to be with respect to economic activity. And distribution also has to be with respect to economic activity. It means there should be a primary motive of earning money. As I told you, I go home, my wife gives me tea, okay? She does work, but she has produced 1 cup of tea, but she is not getting any remuneration for that. Okay, so that you cannot consider as production in economy, because that is out of affection which she will give me, or if I am at home, I will give her a cup of tea. I have produced a cup of tea, okay, but that won't be considered as production. अपने लिए production क्या है? Economic activity का जो भी है वही production है. And what is economic activity? The intention to earn money. Activity is done with the intention to earn money. Now, why do you have production? Okay, because human beings have got needs and wants. Okay, we have needs and wants. Needs are essential for survival. I cannot survive without food. I cannot survive without medicines. I cannot survive without clothes. We need, these are essential for survival. And then what are wants? Wants are those things which are not that essential for survival, but they make your life comfortable. Okay, they make your life comfortable. अपनी life comfortable हो जाती है. Mobile phone, life comfortable हो गई. Watch, I wear a watch so that I know what time it is. Our life is comfortable. Fine. So they add value to our life. They are not essential for survival. They are known as wants. So needs, essential for survival. Without them, survival is difficult. Example: food, water, shelter, medicines. Food, water, shelter, medicines. Wants, non-essential for survival. Improve comfort and lifestyle. Car, AC, branded clothes, smartphones. Clothes are essential. Branded clothes, they just add value to your life. Okay, so please see to it that branded clothes, they will be wants. Now, do all the needs and wants which we have get satisfied by nature? क्या नेचर हमको सब प्रोवाइड करता है? डज नेचर प्रोवाइड अस एव्हरीथिंग? निसर्गाकडून काही येतं का आपल्याला जे सगळेच आपले नीड्स अँड वॉन्ट्स जे आहेत ते फुलफिल करतील? हां, फूड म्हणलं तर ठीक आहे बाबा, झाडावर ॲपल आहे, पेरू आहे, मँगो आहे, आंबा आहे, ते घेतला, खाल्ला, ठीक आहे, फाईन, आपली भूक मिटली त्या वेळेसाठी. त्यामुळे निसर्गाकडून खाण्यासाठी काहीतरी मिळेल. पण बाकीचे ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टी जे आहेत, ओके, शेल्टर यू विल हॅव टू बिल्ड, मेडिसिन, काय आहेत आयुर्वेदिक औषधं जे डायरेक्ट निसर्गातून येतात, पण सगळीच औषधं निसर्गाकडून येतात का? नो, देर आर अदर मेडिसिन्स विच हॅव टू बी प्रोड्यूस विच आर नॉट प्रोव्हाइडेड बाय नेचर. कार विल बी नॉट प्रोव्हाइडेड बाय नेचर. AC, मोबाईल, वॉच, दे विल नॉट बी प्रोड्यूस बाय नेचर. हा मार्कर पेन जो मला पाहिजे, इट विल नॉट बी प्रोड्यूस बाय नेचर. मग ह्यासाठी काय असणार आहे? ह्यासाठी मग वी हॅव प्रोडक्शन. फॉर दिस वी विल बी हॅव्हिंग प्रोडक्शन. सो द फर्स्ट core economic activity becomes production. So what is the role of production? Not all needs are satisfied by nature. Many goods must be produced by humans. बरेचसे गुड्स जे आहेत ते ह्युमन्सनी प्रोड्यूस केले पाहिजेत आणि यालाच आपण प्रोडक्शन म्हणतो. पण माइंड यू, प्रोडक्शन कोणत्या गोष्टीचं? वेअर देअर विल बी एक्सचेंज ऑफ मनी, वेअर देअर विल बी इंटेन्शन ऑफ अर्निंग. ओके, So many goods must be produced by humans, and that is known as production. For example, in cold weather, you need a sweater or a jacket. For hunger, there is a need for processed foods. You are hungry, you want to eat a paratha, a shawarma, whatever it is, you'll have to produce it. Fine. So that is the role of production. So what happens when you have production? Well, what is production exactly? It is a process of extracting or transforming. Either you extract from nature or you transform. Okay. Fine. Natural resources into some useful goods and services. So you extract from nature, mango. Okay. Coal, you extract from nature. Fine. Or you transform. So you have cotton from agriculture, you pick that cotton and you transform it into clothes. That is transforming. So production is nothing but extraction or transforming so that these things become useful for us. They will satisfy our needs or wants. So it is the first core economic activity, that is production, which is extraction or transforming natural resources into useful goods and services. So this then brings to the question, where does production leave us? Okay, where does production leave us? So production जब हमने किया तो उससे क्या मिलता है? Production will give us outputs. Okay, production will give us output. Fine. So whenever you go for extraction, that is taking from nature, example fishing, mining, coal, okay, it will give you an output, that is coal or fish. Or there is transformation, wheat will be transformed to bread, so bread becomes the output. So production creates output. What are the different types of outputs? They will be either goods or services. Okay, so the output which is created by production can be either goods or services. This marker, it's tangible. I can hold it, I can keep it, I can store it. Okay, so this is a good. This is a good. Okay, this will be counted as goods. Fine. But the lecture I am delivering, can you hold it? No, you cannot hold it. Fine. So this is intangible. You cannot show this to anybody. There is a recording facility and everything. That's keep it aside. But you cannot show it to everybody or something like that. Okay, this is the lecture or something. Okay, this is what you have understood from the lecture. Fine. So this is a service. This is a service. You go to the doctor. Doctor checks you. Okay, fine. He performs a check on you, your heartbeat, okay, your tongue. Fine. He looks at your eyes and he comes to a conclusion and give you a prescription. So when you come home, can you show what exactly doctor has produced? No, because that's a service which he has produced. Fine. That's a service he has produced. He or she, the doctor, has produced. Fine. So that becomes a service. So whenever there is production in economy, there are two types of outputs. One is goods. Another is सर्व्हिसेस. ओके, जेव्हा पण इकॉनॉमीमध्ये प्रोडक्शन होतं तेव्हा दोन टाईपचे आउटपुट्स येतात, एक म्हणजे गुड्स आणि सर्व्हिसेस. प्रोडक्शन म्हणजे काय? एक तर एक्स्ट्रॅक्ट करणं किंवा ट्रान्सफॉर्म करणं नॅचरल रिसोर्सेस which will satisfy into something output which will satisfy our needs and wants. Okay, fine. So goods and services. So what is the difference between goods and services? Goods, physical items. Okay, goods are physical items, can be seen, touched or stored. Okay, example, laptop, chair, rice. This can be seen, this can be touched, the mobile, the watch, okay, the remote, it can be seen, it can be touched, it can be stored. Therefore, these are physical items. Services intangible, they cannot be seen or stored. And services एक महत्त्वाची गोष्ट, they have to be consumed at the time of production. Okay, it has to be consumed at the time of production. It cannot be stored. It has to be consumed at the time of production. Fine. So examples, teaching, doctor consultation, banking services. Fine. The banking services are available to me, but I cannot store it. Okay, it has to be consumed whenever it is at the time of consumption itself. It has to be at the time of production itself. It has to be consumed. Okay, so if I go to the bank, I ask for a service. When they produce a service, at that time itself I have to consume that service. So services have to be consumed at the time of production. This is very important. Goods can be consumed at later period. Okay, so this is the difference between goods and services. Okay, so that was about production. Okay, production in the economy. Okay, production, which is related, which is the first core economic activity, production. With production you are going to get outputs. Outputs are of goods and services. Next comes consumption. You consume, but there is monetary exchange when you consume. I am walking by the road, okay, in Himachal Pradesh, I find a tree, there is an apple over there, I pluck an apple, I eat it, I consume it, but that won't be counted in economy. Why? Because there is no exchange, it is not an economic activity. Okay, fine. But when I consume by purchasing something, okay, that consumption is concerned, that we will be concerned with in economy. So use of goods and services to satisfy need and want, okay, this is a second core economic activity. So I buy a two-wheeler, I consume, make consumption of this good. Why? Because I want to come to the office, I want to go back home again, I want to go from one place to another. So this economic activity which you have, okay, of consumption, when economic activity, so there will be exchange of money. I purchase a scooter and then I consume the service. Okay, I'm consume the good. Okay, whatever the scooter has to offer. Fine. So that is known as consumption. Okay, it is the second core economic activity, that is consumption. Okay, so Maharashtra मध्ये I go to Yavle Chaiwala, किंवा now you have many chaiwalas, Premaचा चहा, okay, Jagdamba चहा, then Yavle Chaha. Okay, I go to the tea stall, I purchase it and consume it. Okay, I pay them 10, 15, whatever the amount is, I pay them money and then I consume it. That consumption, this consumption economy is concerned with. Okay, so there is production of tea and I have consumed the tea. If there is no consumption, there won't be any production also. Okay, so second core economic activity is consumption. Fine. So economic consumption, only consumption with monetary value is economic consumption. Example, buying food from restaurant, paying for electricity, cooking food at home and you consume it, that is not for this thing, because that's a non-economic activity which our mothers have been performing, okay, and that is non-economic, so it won't be something like consumption. But if you go to a restaurant, have something, then it is consumption. Fine. So we come to the third aspect of economy, that is distribution. Understand one thing. I go to Yavlecha next to my office. I go to Yavlecha, I consume tea. But this tea stall has to be near me. And the tea which is produced in either Assam or in Kerala, okay, this tea which is produced over there, this tea has to come to the shop which is near me. Okay, this tea has to come to the shop which is near me, only then can I consume. If this tea was in Assam, okay, the tea powder was in Assam or in Kerala, I would have never consumed. Why? Who's going to go to Assam or Kerala for a cup of tea? Fine, I need this shirt, okay, but this shirt is available in a store which is very near to me. It might be manufactured in Delhi, Ludhiana, some of the places, okay, fine, but this shirt has been made available to me at a store near me, therefore I have consumed it. So this process of making it available, that is distribution. Okay, that is distribution, without which we won't be having any consumption. So this is the third core economic activity about which economy is concerned, that is consumption. Okay, so distribution. So distribution, process by which goods and services reach from producers to consumers. It is the third core economic activity. Fine. So if there is a distribution, that distribution is done to the markets. Okay, so I go to a market nearby and purchase. So therefore markets also become very important. So role of the markets, Distribution mainly happens through markets. Okay, it involves the exchange of goods for money. So distribution mainly happens through markets. Okay, so therefore the role of market becomes very important, and in the market you are going to pay money and buy something. So there is exchange of goods for money. So this brings to exchange process. What is this exchange process? Producers provide goods and services, consumers give money for these goods and services. This process is called as exchange. So you pay money, get something, that is exchange. Okay, so this exchange process happens in the market. Example, buying vegetables from a market, online shopping. Okay, even Amazon, Flipkart, they provide online shopping. So that is also a market. It might be a digital market, but it is an online market. It is a market. Fine. So these are the three activities which will make up your economy studies: production, consumption, and distribution. The economic activities are those activities where there is intention to earn money. I am delivering a lecture, this is an economic activity. Okay, this is an economic activity. Why? Because there is an intention to earn money. Fine. So if this marker falls down from my hand, a student, he picks up, okay, and gives the marker back to me. That student has performed some work, but not with the intention to earn money, but just to help me. Okay, help me out with this chore. So that student, the work that student has done, that won't be any economic activity. Fine. So these are the three aspects of economy: production, consumption, and distribution. So what is economy? All activities of production, consumption, and distribution within a territory is economy. So when we say economy of India, we will be studying about production, consumption, and distribution within the territory of India. Okay, that is economy of India. What is economy of Maharashtra? Maharashtra's economy: whatever production, consumption, and distribution happens, okay, whatever production, consumption, and distribution happens within the territory of Maharashtra, that is known as Maharashtra's economy. So economy is with relation to a territory. Economy becomes related to the territory. And whenever we speak of, here you need to understand the difference with economics, because you also have economics for means. Okay, macroeconomics we have done with the syllabus part. Okay, last week itself we have done with the syllabus part, all those things. So if you have missed the lecture, it's available on YouTube. So with respect to the difference between economy and economics, economy refers to production, consumption, and distribution, all the activities within a territory. That becomes the economy of that country, economy of that region. But what is economics? These are the principles. Okay, principles which are followed in production, consumption, and distribution. These principles which are followed in production, consumption, and distribution, and they are not related to any region or a country. Fine. They are just the principles of these production, consumption, and distribution. Okay, so these principles, they form economics. So it becomes a hardcore theoretical part of the subject. Okay, and when you apply these principles of production, consumption, and distribution to a region, it becomes economy of that region. Okay, so these two words, kindly understand the meaning: economy and economics. Okay, in mains you have 4 topics with respect to macroeconomics. Okay, हम बाद में वो भी कर लेंगे क्या है क्या नहीं. Okay, but majorly what you have is economy of India and Maharashtra's economy. Majorly that forms the syllabus of many of the competitive exams in the country and also in the state. Okay, so be very thorough with this. Know this part of economy. Fine. Many of the exams you will find it easy to score in economy. So for example, Indian economy, US economy, it is nothing but these 3 related to in their respective territories. Okay, so this is what economy is all about. Now, what kind of production do you have? Okay, what kind of production do you have? Based on the type of production, this economy can also be divided into primary, secondary, tertiary, and there are two more sectors, okay, that will come to later on. So primary sector is one where the produce is natural. Okay, you get something from nature, you produce something from nature itself, that is primary sector. Okay, so agriculture and allied activities like fishing, okay, animal husbandry, then you have mining. So these are the produce you get from nature, that is a primary sector. Whenever you apply some technology, okay, whenever you apply some technology on the produce from primary sector, whatever you get from the primary sector, whenever you apply some technology on it and you manufacture something new. For example, we get cotton from nature, I apply technology and manufacture this shirt. Okay, so this manufacturing becomes a secondary sector. This manufacturing becomes a secondary sector. So secondary sector is all about manufacturing, construction and utilities also. Electricity supply, water supply, okay, all these utilities, it forms a part of secondary sector. So primary sector, the produce is what you get from nature. So agriculture and allied activities, mining and quarrying, okay, खाणकाम असतं ते quarrying, okay, खाणी असतात, दगडाच्या खाणी असतात, okay, so that is quarrying activity, okay, that is quarrying activity. So what are you getting over here? Stones, crushed stones and all those things, the stones which you get, that is nothing but it is the produce from nature, therefore it is primary sector. Secondary sector, you use the stones to construct this building. So construction, manufacturing and production of utilities like electricity, water supply, okay, so that becomes secondary sector. So then what is tertiary sector? Both the primary and secondary sectors, okay, both the primary and secondary sectors, they would be needing some support kind of mechanism. What is that support kind of mechanism? Both of them would be needing transportation, both of them would be needing communication services, both of them would be needing banking. So this supporting sector to the primary and the secondary sector, okay, this supporting sector to the primary and secondary is known as tertiary sector, which will include the services, therefore it is also known as service sector. Okay, it is also known as service sector. So based on the type of production, you can have primary, secondary and tertiary sectors. Okay, primary, secondary and tertiary sectors. So primary sector directly depend on nature, produces raw materials, agriculture, fishing, mining. Components of primary sector, as I told you, agriculture and allied activities. So farming, dairy, fisheries, forestry, that becomes agriculture and allied activities, and mining and quarrying, that is coal mining, iron ore extraction. Okay, so the output of the primary sector is nothing but natural products. Okay, output of the primary sector is nothing but natural products. So this forms the first sector based on production, primary sector. You get questions in the exam as forestry, which of the following is a primary sector? Okay, which of the following is a secondary sector activity? Questions येतात exam मध्ये असे. So be just understand it, be very thorough with the concept, you won't miss this kind of questions. Wherever there is mugging up, okay, wherever there is mugging up, okay, you mug up something. So wherever there is mugging up business, in that case, you have to mug up the data. There is no other option. Facts हे पाठ करावेच लागतील तुम्हाला. फॅक्ट्स, त्याला काय म्हणजे पर्यायच नाही. फॅक्ट्स का पाठ करावा लागेल. हा थोडे कन्सेप्ट जर का क्लिअर असतील तर फॅक्ट्स थोडे आरामात पाठ होतात, बट फॅक्ट्स हे पाठांतराची गोष्ट आहे. ओके, सो बाय द एंड ऑफ द डे वेन यू आर डुईंग हिस्ट्री, जिओग्राफी, पॉलिटी, इकॉनॉमी, एन्व्हायरमेंट, देर आर 2 लॉज. ओके, फाईन. सो यू आर कव्हरिंग सो मेनी सब्जेक्ट, करंट अफेअर्स. मग जिथे एवढे सगळे फॅक्ट्स पाठ करायचे आहेत, तिथं काही गोष्टी तुम्ही कॉन्सेप्च्युअली ध्यानात ठेवलेलं बरं आहेत. सो if at all you can remember something conceptually, try to grasp it conceptually, because even if you don't give last moment revision of these concepts, once you get the concepts, okay, even then you will score good marks in the exam. but for facts you will have to mug it up. Okay, so reduce your load, don't try to mug up everything, reduce your load, try to understand certain things conceptually. It will definitely be easy for you to score good marks in the exam. So this is the primary sector. Secondary sector converts raw materials into finished goods, also called manufacturing or industrial sector. So it converts raw materials into finished goods, also known as manufacturing or industrial sector. For example, cotton, it leads to cloth. Iron, from iron you get steel. So this is the manufacturing sector. So what are the components? You have manufacturing, you have construction, and also you have utilities with water, electricity, fuel. Okay, production of these utilities, water supply, electricity supply. So this also comes under the secondary sector, and the output of the secondary sector is known as finished goods. So they will be directly consumed. Output of the secondary sector is known as finished goods. Okay, so if you grow cotton, if you grow cotton in your farms, that cotton cannot be directly consumed. It has to be produced into something which will be directly consumed, and that becomes a shirt which I am wearing. Okay, so this is a finished product. इसको आगे कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं, याला काय पुढे करायची गरज नाही. This is a shirt which is directly I am going to purchase it and consume it. Fine. So this is a finished goods. So output of the secondary sector is finished goods. Output of the primary sector is natural products. And with that we move to the tertiary sector. Okay. The output of the tertiary sector is services. Therefore, the tertiary sector is also known as service sector. So these are the services which are going to support the two other sectors. Okay, they are going to support the two other sectors. Banking, examples of tertiary sector: banking, transport, tourism, education, healthcare, communication. So the output of the tertiary sector is services. The output of the tertiary sector is services. Fine. So that's the tertiary sector. Then the importance of tertiary sector, it supports the production and distribution. Okay, there cannot be any production and distribution without the tertiary sector. Okay, the service has to be there, banking services has to be there, transportation service has to be there, communication services have to be there. Okay, it enables economic growth. Example, banks provide loans for industries, transporters, they deliver the goods. Okay, so this is the third sector with respect to production. Now, apart from these three sectors which we have studied, okay, based on production, we also have two other sectors which you need to understand. Exam mein wo bhi important hai. Okay. These are the latest developments. One is the quaternary sector, other is the quinary sector. Okay, the quaternary and quinary sector. So what is the quaternary sector? The quaternary sector is that one where you have R&D and IT involved. So this is where you have high knowledge requirement, and it's a very intellectual sector where you have R&D, research and diagnosis going on. Okay, so this is the fourth sector based on high intellect and high level of knowledge. Example, IT and R&D, research and development, biopharma, research and development. Fine. Okay, biotechnology, research and development, whatever it is happening, that is involved in quaternary. So it will require high level of intellect, high level of knowledge. And finally, we have the quinary sector wherein you have the highest decision making. Okay, wherein you have the highest decision making. What is this highest decision making sector? Let's take this example. अभी अपने यहाँ पे artificial intelligence का summit हो रहा है दिल्ली में. Okay, so there is an artificial intelligence summit wherein they want to deliver this artificial intelligence, okay, the services of artificial intelligence to the common man, and also see to it that the common man is also protected. Okay, so this highest decision making is involving whom? Governments. Also you have all the heads of the CEOs of the technological giants like Meta, Google, everybody coming to India. Find Microsoft. Okay, then you also had this thing, Mr. Sam Altman, he has also come to India. So these are the technological giants, CEOs of the technological giants, they are coming to India. and they are also there in the process of taking a decision as to how artificial intelligence has to be driven forward. Okay, क्या strategy होनी चाहिए, what should be the strategy so that the common man is benefited and not harmed because of artificial intelligence. Okay, so this highest decision making level, okay, that is known as quinary sector. Okay, that is known as quinary sector. What will it involve? Governments, universities, corporates, private sector, okay, at the highest level. Even this thing, now we had COVID, okay, COVID pandemic. How to deal with COVID pandemic? That decision was taken at the highest level with lots of governmental representatives and the private sector representatives, UN representatives, WHO representatives coming together, and they making a decision that with respect to COVID we will have this strategy. So this highest decision making level is the quinary sector, So whatever is produced, how to take it forward? Okay, where should we stop it? Okay, that decision making sector is the quinary sector. So you will be having 5 sectors: primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary, and quinary. Now this is conceptual. So when I say conceptual, see to it that you write it in your own words somewhere, okay, and be conceptually very clear. Conceptually you'll have to be very clear. Okay, so these are the different sectors over here which you have in economy. Now, based on the sectors, you also have the structure of economy. Okay, if a economy is more dependent on primary sector produce, that economy will be known as a primary economy. Okay, for example, many of the African countries, they are dependent on the natural produce, so they are agriculture dominant. These are primary economies. Then secondary economy will be based on manufacturing. So manufacturing sector over there is very dominant. Example, Chinaचं manufacturing सगळ्यांना माहिती आहे. Okay, fine. टाचणीपासून प्लेन पर्यंत सगळंच मॅन्युफॅक्चर करतात ते. So China has got a dominant manufacturing sector. So Chinese economy would be known as a secondary economy or the manufacturing dominant economy. And tertiary economy, where the services play a dominant role in the national income, GDP, gross domestic product of that country. Okay, so for example, India. In India today, services, they form literally 55% of the GDP. Whatever the nation produces, 55% production, okay, is the services activity. So whatever economic activities we have, okay, 55% of those economic activities are nothing but services. Therefore, Indian economy is also known as a service-based economy. Okay, many of the tourist destinations, okay, Maldives, so their economy is thriving. Thailand, their economy is thriving on tourism services. Okay, their economy is thriving on tourism services. So these are service-based economies. Fine. So structure will depend on contributors of the sector, which sector is dominant in the gross domestic product of that economy and the employment share, then you'll have that type of economy. Okay, then you will have that type of economy. So these are the different types of economies based on which sector in production is dominant. Okay, so next, I hope you are getting the concepts. We have started with what exactly economy is. Economic activity म्हणजे काय, मग ती कशी असते, प्रोडक्शन, कन्झम्पशन, डिस्ट्रीब्युशन. मग प्रोडक्शननी काय होतं, आउटपुट काय असतं प्रोडक्शनचं, गुड्स, सर्व्हिसेस. फाईन. ओके, देन व्हॉट इज कन्झम्पशन, व्हॉट इज डिस्ट्रीब्युशन. मग प्रोडक्शन कसं असतं, प्रायमरी सेक्टर, सेकंडरी सेक्टर, टर्शरी सेक्टर. सो वी हॅव अंडरस्टूड द सेक्टर्स. ओके, सो दीज आर द बेसिक थिंग्स विच यू अंडरस्टँड, अँड ह्याच्यावर क्वेश्चन्स आलेले आहेत. ओके, क्वेश्चन्स विल डील विथ लेटर ऑन. First, let's understand this. So every economy functions through production, distribution, and consumption. And sectoral composition, it defines the level of development. Now this part is very important. Understand. See, if the share of primary sector is more in the economy, okay, if the share of primary sector is more in the economy, what does it signify? what does it signify? It signifies that the technology for production is not available in the country. Okay, production is very less in the country. The technology for production is not available in the country, and therefore you have, or this economy is known as an underdeveloped economy or a developing economy. Underdeveloped or developing because there is no technology available for manufacturing. So if the share of primary sector is dominant in that economy is yet to be fully developed. But if the share of manufacturing and services is dominant in the economy, that economy is considered as developed. If you look at US, okay, manufacturing and service sector, it forms literally 98% of the economy. And agriculture, even though the production of agriculture is huge, even then it forms only 2% of the economy. The contribution of agriculture to the US economy is only 2%. So this kind of structure is known as developed economy, wherein you will be having very high GDP, per capita income is also very high. Okay, so the sectoral composition, it defines level of development. So this should be understood. The sectoral composition, it defines level of development. Okay, so next, now we understand one of the basic concept in economy, that there can be two types of economies. One is capitalist economy, other is socialist economy. So you have capitalist economy and socialist economy. What is the difference? Kindly understand the difference. Kindly understand the difference. Capitalist economy, okay, capitalist economy is one, okay, capitalist economy is one wherein all the means of production is with private players. It means whatever is produced in the economy, it will all be produced by private players. Government does not have any role in production. Okay, government does not have any role in production. Government is just for managing and administration. Okay, so one type of economy over here is capitalist. At the other end of the spectrum, the economy is known as socialist economy. What is the socialist economy? Socialist economy is one where all the means of production is with the government. Okay, socialist economy is one where all the means of production is with the government. Fine. So what are the means of production? Whatever you produce in the economy, everything will be produced by the government itself. That is a socialist economy. So at one end you have the capitalist economy, at one end you have the socialist economy. Okay. So what are the characteristic of these, each one of these? That we'll understand. Capitalist economy. Capitalism is an economic system based on private ownership of the means of production and their operation for profit. Okay, so there is private ownership of the means of production and their operation is for profit. It is one of the oldest economic systems. Okay, so capitalist economy is one of the oldest economic system. Understand one thing. एकदम जुन्या काळामध्ये राजे महाराजे असायचे. ओके, राजे असायचे, त्यांची राजधानी असायची, त्यांचं राज्य असायचं. ओके, पण हे जे राजे असायचे ना, ओके, राजे महाराजे ते जे असायचे ते प्रोडक्शन नाही करायचे. ओके, ते ॲडमिनिस्ट्रेशन करायचे. मग प्रोडक्शन कोणाकडे असायचं? प्रोडक्शनसाठी त्यांचे ऑर्गनायझेशन असायचे. ओके, वेगवेगळे ऑर्गनायझेशन असायचे. मग कार्पेंटरचे ऑर्गनायझेशन असणार, ब्लॅकस्मिथचे ऑर्गनायझेशन असणार. ओके, पॉटरीवाले जे आहेत त्यांचं ऑर्गनायझेशन असणार आणि ते ऑर्गनायझेशनमध्ये ते प्रोडक्शन करायचे. राजांचं काम काय असायचं? मॅनेजिंग करणं. म्हणजे ती पण एक सॉर्ट ऑफ कॅपिटलिस्ट इकॉनॉमी होती, कारण राजांकडे प्रोडक्शन नसायचं. सो इट इज वन ऑफ द ओल्डेस्ट. पण मॉडर्न कॅपिटलिझम जे चालू झाले, मॉडर्न कॅपिटलिझम ते चालू झालं मिड 18th सेंचुरीमध्ये विथ द इंडस्ट्रियल रेव्होल्युशन. इंडस्ट्रियल रेव्होल्युशन नंतर मॉडर्न कॅपिटलिझम भरमसाठ चालू झालं. ओके, इंडस्ट्रियल रेव्होल्युशन झालं आणि त्याच्यामध्ये तिथून मग आपली ॲक्च्युअली आत्ताचं जे कॅपिटलिझम आहे त्याची सुरुवात झाली. सो व्हॉट इज कॅपिटलिझम? ऑल द मीन्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन इज विथ द प्रायव्हेट प्लेस. म्हणून त्याला प्रायव्हेट इकॉनॉमी पण म्हणतात. कॅपिटलिस्ट इकॉनॉमीला प्रायव्हेट इकॉनॉमी पण म्हणतात. ओके. आणि सोशलिस्ट इकॉनॉमीला गव्हर्नमेंट इकॉनॉमी किंवा पब्लिक इकॉनॉमी पण म्हणतात, पब्लिक सेक्टर. फाईन. सो व्हॉट आर द कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक ऑफ कॅपिटलिस्ट इकॉनॉमी? It has the following features. One, private property. Okay, private property. But obvious, मी जर का माझं काही प्रोडक्शन असेल तर मी ते प्रोडक्शन करणार, पैसे येणार, त्यांनी माझी प्रायव्हेट प्रॉपर्टी अक्युमुलेट करत जाणार, प्रायव्हेट प्रॉपर्टी होत जाणार, गव्हर्नमेंटची नसणार आहे, ही माझी बिल्डिंग आहे, हे माझं ऑफिस आहे. सो इट इज प्रायव्हेट प्रॉपर्टी. फाईन. ओके. कॅपिटल अक्युमुलेशन, वेल्थ अक्युमुलेशन. लुक एट अंबानीज अँड अडानीज अँड बिर्लाज अँड टाटाज. वेल्थ किती झाले त्यांच्याकडं. सो कॅपिटल अक्युमुलेशन. Okay, that is very important aspect of private economy or capitalist economy. Then wage labor. Capitalist economy मध्ये the private players are the owners of production. So what will they do? They will employ people as laborers and they will pay them wages. So wage labor is a very important aspect of capitalist economy. Okay, wage labor is a very important aspect of capitalist economy. आता ह्याच्या उलट मग सोशलिस्ट इकॉनॉमी मध्ये कसं आहे ते बघा. ओके, अंडरस्टँड दिस पार्ट. सोशलिस्ट इकॉनॉमी मध्ये काय असतं? इट इज अ गव्हर्नमेंट. ओके, इट इज द गव्हर्नमेंट विच इज प्रोड्युसिंग एव्हरीथिंग. ऑल द मीन्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन इज विथ द गव्हर्नमेंट. तर गव्हर्नमेंट काय करतं? प्रायव्हेट प्रॉफिटसाठी करतं का अक्युमुलेशन ऑफ वेल्थसाठी गव्हर्नमेंट प्रोडक्शन करतंय? नाही. ओके, गव्हर्नमेंट इज प्रोड्युसिंग सो दॅट इट कॅन डिस्ट्रीब्यूट, गिव्ह इट टू एव्हरीबडी अकॉर्डिंग टू देअर नीड्स. ओके, कोण काय काम करतंय? असं काम करते. ओके, सो यू आर अ क्लर्क, यू विल गेट अ 1 BHK फ्लॅट. ओके, यू आर ऑफ अ हायर रँक, द गव्हर्नमेंट हू इज इन टू मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंग? गव्हर्नमेंट. मग बिल्डिंग कोण बांधणार? गव्हर्नमेंट. सो गव्हर्नमेंट काय करणार? दोज हू आर according to their needs and everything, government will provide them the goods and services. Fine. So what are they working into? What are their work? Their work is of this order, give them this thing. Their work is of higher order, give them something higher. Okay, so that is what happens in socialist economy. So there is no private property, there is no capital accumulation. Wage labor. Okay, government does not pay wages. It will pay wages, but obvious, but it is something that government wants equality for everybody. Okay, so government not always pay wages. It might provide, okay, you are working for government sector, we'll give you a flat for living. So there is government accommodation. So many of these things will be included by the government. Okay, so that is, you don't follow a concept, pure concept of wage labor in socialist economy. But capitalist economy mein, there is private property, there is capital accumulation, there is wage labor. Yes, one more important aspect of capitalist economy, private economy, is voluntary exchange. Now, what is this voluntary exchange? Okay, voluntary exchange. What is this voluntary exchange? We voluntarily exchanging. Okay, nobody has forced you to come to me. It's a voluntary exchange. I am using the services of Vodafone, okay, VI, Airtel, or I might be using Jio. Has anybody forced me? No. Okay, I have voluntarily gone for that exchange. Exchange, you buy by paying money. So this is a voluntary exchange. I think that VI is much better than Jio or Airtel, so I get a VI connection. I feel that BSNL is much better with respect to services. I'll go and purchase BSNL services. Okay, so there is a voluntary exchange. But with respect to where government is providing, socialist economy, there is no voluntary exchange. Okay, just imagine for transportation, there is just one service, the bus service, the state transport service provided by the government. So is there any voluntary exchange? No, you have to wait for the bus to come and you have to sit in that bus and go ahead with your journey. There is no voluntary exchange. I will not go in this bus, I'll go in this some other bus. No, it is the government which is providing. Okay, so when the government provides, there is no voluntary exchange. You will have to go to the government and take that service or goods. Voluntary exchange नाही की मी असं नाही म्हणू शकतो की इकडं लवकर होईल, नाही. Okay, I want a birth certificate, I will have to go to the local municipal corporation and avail their services. It's not voluntary exchange that no. Tata, it's a very good company. Tata will give me birth service. No, a birth certificate. No. Fine. You will have to go to this office where the government has specified that office, and you will have to get that birth certificate. So whenever it's government socialist economy, there is no voluntary exchange. You have to accept what the government provides. So this is a very important difference between capitalist economy, private economy. Capitalist economy is also known as private economy, and the socialist economy. What is the motive in a capitalist economy? Why is Ambani going with setting up so many industries? Profit. Profit. If I establish my own class, why should I go for it? Profit. You have purchased a shop and you have started selling some goods in the shop. Why? Profit. Okay, so profit is the motive in capitalist economy. Socialist economy, profit is not the motive. Government will always work to reduce the gap between haves and the have-nots, rich and the poor. Okay, profit is not the motive with respect to government. That's the reason. Example बघा, females they have got a half ticket in Maharashtra. आपल्या इथं महाराष्ट्रामध्ये फिमेल्स का स्टेट ट्रान्सपोर्टचे बसेसमध्ये काय आहे, हाफ तिकीट आहे. काय? गव्हर्नमेंट वॉन्ट्स टू ब्रिंग इन इक्वॅलिटी विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू द जेंडर. More and more females should be there in finances, in education. Okay, that's the reason government has provided half ticket. Government is going ahead with half ticket for females. Okay, females का स्टेट ट्रान्सपोर्ट बसेसमध्ये हाफ तिकीट आहे. प्रायव्हेट बसेस देणार आहेत का तसं? प्रायव्हेट बसेस देणार आहेत का? नाही देणार. मी जर का एखादी बस सर्व्हिस चालू केली, ओके फाईन, पर्पल आहे तशी मी माझी ब्ल्यू चालू केली किंवा व्हाईट चालू केली, व्हाईट बस सर्व्हिस, फाईन, ब्लॅक बस सर्व्हिस चालू केली. Why will I go ahead with this bus service? For profit. Okay, I won't be providing half ticket to everybody, senior citizens half ticket. Why? Because I want to earn money. I've invested this much, I want to earn money. Okay, so profit is the motive with respect to capitalist economy. Then the price mechanism in a capitalist economy. In a capitalist economy, the price mechanism is dependent on the market. What is the demand and supply in the market? Okay, now understand this thing. If the demand is too high, if the demand is too high in the market, okay, and the supply is less, the price for that commodity will increase. Because the demand is high and the supply is less, the price for that commodity will increase. But if the demand is less and the supply is more, the price for that commodity will decrease. एक आपलं टाटा नॅनो घ्या. टाटा नॅनो जेव्हा लॉन्च केली होती, ओके, तेव्हा लॉन्च केल्यावर त्याचं प्रोजेक्शन कसं होतं, गरिबांची गाडी, ओके फाईन, अ चीप कार. सो पीपल वर नॉट बाईंग इट. तेव्हा सप्लाय होतं पण डिमांड कमी होता. तेव्हा टाटाची प्राईस काय होती, 1.5 lakhs to 1.6 lakhs एवढीच होती टाटाची नॅनोची प्राईस. बट जशी नॅनो जर का त्यांनी मार्केटिंग चेंज केलं, प्रोजेक्शन चेंज केलं, दॅट इट इज अ व्हेरी कम्फर्टेबल कार फॉर सिटीज, पार्किंगचा प्रॉब्लेम काही नाही आहे, छोटी गाडी आहे, इट कॅन इझिली रिगल आउट थ्रू ट्रॅफिक. ओके, असं जेव्हा मार्केटिंग झालं तेव्हा टाटा नॅनोची डिमांड वाढली. डिमांड वाढली तर त्याची प्राईसही वाढली. ओके, प्राईसही वाढली. लास्ट टाटा नॅनोचं प्रोडक्शन बंद झाले, बट लास्ट इट वॉज समथिंग लाईक 4.5 to 5 lakhs. ओके, इट वॉज समथिंग लाईक 4.5 to 5 lakhs. Okay, so demand, the price mechanism in a private economy is based on demand and supply. More the demand, price will be more. More the demand, less the supply, price is more. गव्हर्नमेंटचं तसं नाही आहे. दिवाळीच्या वेळेस स्टेट ट्रान्सपोर्ट बसेसचं डिमांड खूप जास्त आहे. ओके, द स्टेट ट्रान्सपोर्ट बसेस, ओके, ST बस, there is more demand for this thing during Diwali, Eid or Ganpati. Okay, why? Because people want to go to their native places. Does the government increase the price of the ticket because the demand is high? No. On the other hand, if there is a private bus service during this holiday season when there is peak demand, the ticket rate, it increases, it doubles or triples or even quadruples. 4-5 पटीने ते पैसे लावतात ते. 700 रुपयाचं तिकीट 3,500 पर्यंत जातं. का? डिमांड जास्त, लगेच प्राइस वाढली. प्रायव्हेट इकॉनॉमी, कॅपिटलिस्ट इकॉनॉमी, जिथं प्रोडक्शन प्रायव्हेट पर्सननी करतंय, ओके, द प्रोडक्शन इज विथ द प्रायव्हेट पर्सन, they definitely, the price mechanism is dependent on the market condition, demand and supply. But when it's a socialist economy, government, the price mechanism is fixed by the government. It is not based on demand or supply. Okay, so please remember that in a capitalist economy, the price mechanism will be based on the market conditions. Okay, it will not be fixed, it will be based on the market conditions. Whereas in a socialist economy, the government will fix the prices. Understood? The government will fix the prices. Next you have is competitive markets. Okay, we have VI, Airtel, BSNL, Jio. If I want to start a new service, I can start a new service. If I've got that much technological know-how and capital to start a new communication service, okay, telecom service, I can start. I can compete with these giants. So in a capitalist economy, there is competitive markets. But when the socialist economy, government is owning everything, there is no competition. Everything is with the government. Okay, so in a perfectly socialist economy, there is no private player. So the private people are not allowed to start their industries. So there is no competition. So you have competitive markets in a capitalist economy. Then one major thing, तुम्ही सगळे खुश होऊ शकता, consumer is the king in a capitalist economy. Okay, consumer is a king in a capitalist economy. कसं? See, if I don't like VI service and I go for porting my number, there is number portability, so I go for porting my number into some other service, okay, BSNL. Okay, immediately I go for get phones from VI. Sir, तुम्ही असं करू नका, don't go for the service. We will waive off 100 rupees in your next bill. Okay, you have any problems, we'll sort it out in 1 month. Don't worry, sir. Ka? Because consumer is the king. Consumer is the king. They will try to retain the consumer, because if there is no consumption, why will they produce? Their production will fail. Okay, whatever they produce, it will just go wasted. So they will have to retain the consumer, and therefore consumer is the king in the private economy, capitalist economy. In a socialist economy where the government is providing, consumer, okay, consumer has to be respected. That's the case. But practically what happens, if you want to go by a state transport bus and the state transport bus, the window is broken or something like that, you have rainwater coming through the window, okay, still you will have to accept it and go by that bus. Okay, fine. So a consumer is not a king. Consumer should be respected even in a socialist economy. That's a different part. But mostly in a capitalist economy, consumer becomes the king. Then no government interference. In a capitalist economy, no one is going to ask Tata that, okay, fine, you are going to manufacture only these many Nexon or these many Sierra cars or these many Nano cars. No. There is no government interference in a private economy or a capitalist economy. And that is known as laissez-faire state. Okay, remember the word laissez-faire state, it's a Latin word, no government hand. Okay, so that is known as laissez-faire state. And so the question was asked on this. Okay, this question was asked on this laissez-faire state. So remember the word. And lastly, in a capitalist economy, you have self-interest. What do you have? You have self-interest. In a capitalist economy, you have self-interest. Whatever I do, I will do it for myself. I will get a salary, मी माझी salary घेणार, मी माझी shopping करणार, मी माझं फिरायला जाणार. There is lots of self-interest in a capitalist economy. Socialist economy मध्ये तसं नाहीये. So, majority of the points with respect to socialist economy, we have understood vis-a-vis these points itself. की socialist economy मध्ये कसं असतं. Okay, we have understood in comparison with this. Apart from that, what is a socialist economy? A socialist economic system is characterized by social ownership. Social म्हणजे आपल्या सगळ्यांची ओनरशिप. सो इट इज अ गव्हर्नमेंट कंपनी, बट गव्हर्नमेंट कोण? आपणच सगळे, आपलेच इलेक्टेड माणसं आहेत ते. सो अ सोशलिस्ट economic system is characterized by social ownership and democratic control of the means of production, which may mean autonomous cooperatives or direct public ownership, wherein production is carried out directly for use. जर का हे गव्हर्नमेंटचं असणार सगळं, ओके, ही क्लासरूम, आपली क्लासरूम म्हणजे एक कंट्री, ओके, आवर क्लासरूम इज अ कंट्री. I am the government and this is a socialist economy, perfectly socialist economy where everything, all production is with the government. The government काय बघणार? ठीक आहे, आपल्या इकॉनॉमीमध्ये काय पाहिजे? Okay, we need some 100 notebooks. Okay, we'll manufacture 100 notebooks, distribute it. What does the economy need? Oh, we need 50 kg of wheat. 50 kg of wheat हुआ, distributed. So here the production is directly for use, not for selling and making profit. Okay, whatever the PMPML buses you have, the state transport buses you have, they are all directly for consumption, not for profit. Okay, so whatever is the production, they will be directly for use. So it has the following features: public or collective ownership, socialist economy मध्ये. And since the government is owning everything, government कडेच सगळं काय आहे, there is going to be a central planning of the economy. का? कारण government is owning everything. So how many notebooks, how many cars, how many wheat, how many buildings, everything would be decided by the government. So there is central planning of the economy. Okay, in a socialist economy. Emphasis in a socialist economy is on equality and economic security to everybody. Okay, so there should be equality and economic security to everybody. गरीबातला गरीब असू तरी त्याला इकॉनॉमिक सिक्युरिटी असणार आहे, खायला प्यायला, ओके, शेल्टर, एव्हरीथिंग विल बी प्रोव्हाइडेड बाय द गव्हर्नमेंट. सो दॅट इज अ सोशलिस्ट इकॉनॉमी. अँड द गोल ऑफ अ सोशलिस्ट इकॉनॉमी इज ऑफ क्लास रिडक्शन. हॅव्स आणि हॅव नॉटचा गॅप कमी करायचा आहे. द गॅप बिटवीन दोज हू हॅव अँड दोज हू डोंट हॅव, तो गॅप कमी करणं. ओके, दॅट इज क्लास रिडक्शन. That is the goal of a socialist economy. So I hope you have understood the difference between capitalist economy and socialist economy. Once again. Okay. Fine. Now these are something conceptual. So in the exam, when you get question with respect to capitalist economy or socialist economy, once the concept is clear, you will be able to tick mark the correct answer. त्यामुळे हे conceptual गोष्टी आहे ना, slowly and in a very firm manner, see to it that you grasp it. Okay, whatever is the conceptual clarity. Then next, see, at one end of the spectrum you have capitalist economy, at another end of the spectrum you have total socialist economy. Everything owned by the government, everything owned by the private player, nothing owned by the government, that's a capitalist economy. Nothing owned by the private player, everything owned by the government, that's a socialist economy. But what do you have in the world? In the world there is always a mixture of capitalism and socialism. Look at India. What do we have? We have those state transport buses, as well as we have the private buses, Purple, Vijayanand, VRL Travels, okay, Konduskar. You have these state transport buses, okay, Nita, fine. So these state transport buses, these private buses as well as the state transport buses, both, that is public as well as private, both are operating in the same economy. Such an economy is known as mixed economy. अशा इकॉनॉमीला काय म्हणतात? मिक्स इकॉनॉमी. आपली कंट्री काय आहे? मिक्स इकॉनॉमी. मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द कंट्रीज, ओके, इन द वर्ल्ड, ओके, टुडे, लिटरली all the countries in the world today are mixed economies. There is no country which is perfectly socialist. There is no country which is perfectly capitalist. Okay, so you have a socialist economy and you also have a capitalist economy. Okay, and there is no country which is perfectly socialist, you perfectly capitalist. Whatever you have is a mixture of these two. Some countries are more socialist and less capitalist. Some countries are more capitalist and less socialist. China, more socialist, less capitalist. India, today India is more capitalist and less socialist. But we are mixed economy. What are we? We are mixed economy. India is a mixed economy. आता इंडियाबद्दल एक सांगतो. Before 1990, we were mixed economy, but we were more inclined towards socialism. म्हणजे तेव्हा टेलिफोनची कंपनी कोणती? एकच, गव्हर्नमेंटची. देअर वॉज नो एअरटेल, देअर वॉज नो VI, नथिंग. एकच गव्हर्नमेंट कंपनी. म्हणजे देअर वॉज मोर सोशलिझम. मिक्स इकॉनॉमी होती. आयर्न अँड स्टीलमध्ये गव्हर्नमेंट कंपनी होती, एज वेल एज टाटा स्टील पण होते. ओके, बिफोर 1990. बट इट वॉज मिक्स्ड इकॉनॉमी, मोर टिल्टेड टुवर्ड्स सोशलिझम. तेव्हा एअरलाईन्स फक्त एकच होतं गव्हर्नमेंटचं 1990च्या आधी. 1990 नंतर किंवा इव्हन ऑटोमोबाईलमध्ये तेव्हा काय होतं, मारुती सुझुकी वॉज अ मेजर प्लेयर. ओके, कारमध्ये 1990च्या आधी. त्यामुळे आपण मिक्स्ड इकॉनॉमी होतो, पण मोर टुवर्ड सोशलिझम होतो. 1990 नंतर काय झालं, इव्हन टुडे वी आर मिक्स्ड इकॉनॉमी, but we are more related towards capitalism. We are more tilted towards capitalism. So even today, we are mixed economy, but we are more tilted towards capitalism. See what happened in 1990. ते आपण नंतर बघू. When we do the 5-year plans, at that time we'll understand what exactly has happened in the full these decades, okay, these 7 to 8 decades after independence, what exactly has happened and why in 1990 we moved more towards capitalism. Okay, we all know, that means you might be knowing, we went for the economic reforms of LPG, liberalization of the economy, privatization of the economy. Privatization म्हणजे काय? Capitalism. Okay, privatization म्हणजे capitalism. So after 1990 we went for LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization. Okay, so after 1990 we became more capitalist. Look around yourself today. Building कोण बनतंय? Private. Okay, airlines आता सगळे private. गव्हर्नमेंटने स्वतःची एअरलाइन्स पण विकली. The government has sold its own airlines. Okay, so everything is private today. Iron and steel, you have all Mittals and Tatas and this thing, POSCO, the South Korean company. Everything have entered, they are all entered into India for production of iron and steel. Okay, so now we are more of a capitalist economy, but there is a government present, therefore we are a mixed economy, more tilted towards capitalism. Before 1990 we had a mixed economy, more tilted towards socialism. आता सोशलिझम मधला एक पॉइंट अजून महत्वाचा. सोशलिझमचे मेन प्लेयर्स कोणते होते? हु आर द मेन प्लेयर्स इन सोशलिझम? One is the peasants, other is the laborers. Okay, peasants and laborers हे खूप महत्वाचे आहेत सोशलिझममध्ये. वर्कर्स म्हणू, लेबरर्स नाही, वर्कर्स. पीजन्स अँड वर्कर्स हे खूप महत्वाचे आहे सोशलिझममध्ये. त्यामुळे जेव्हा सोशलिस्ट इकॉनॉमी असते, कम्युनिस्ट इकॉनॉमी असते, तेव्हा तिथे ना पीजंट मुवमेंट आणि वर्कर मुवमेंट जी आहे ती खूप स्ट्रॉंग असते. पीजन्स अँड वर्कर्स. ओके, सो जेव्हा 1990च्या आधी आपली इकॉनॉमी सोशलिझमकडे जास्त होती. सोशलिझम म्हणजे काय? एव्हरीथिंग ओन बाय द गव्हर्नमेंट. आता जस्ट एक सिंपल हे बघा, म्हणजे हाऊ इकॉनॉमी इज, वी लिव्ह इकॉनॉमी. ओके, आय विल गिव्ह यू वन एक्झाम्पल हाऊ वी लिव्ह इकॉनॉमी. Look at the movies you have. Okay, look at the movies you have in 70s and 80s. 70s and 80s मध्ये in the movies, okay, in the contemporary movies during those decades, the hero, the main protagonist of the movie was always from a working class. आपला हिरो जो असतो ना तो वर्किंग क्लासचा किंवा एक शेतकरी असतो जुन्या मूवीजमध्ये. आणि विलन कोण असतो आपल्या हिरो मूवीजमध्ये? The villain is always a rich person, okay, who has got a private industry, his own industry, okay, the mill owner. हे सगळे नेहमी बघा रिच पीपल दाखवलेत आणि विलन दाखवलेत. सो तेव्हा काय होतं, सोशलिस्ट आयडिओलॉजी होती. त्याफॉर एनीबडी, कुणाकडे पण प्रायव्हेट कॅपिटल आहे, रिच आहे, प्रायव्हेट मिल आहे स्वतःची, ते इव्हिल होतं. बिकॉज आयडिओलॉजी काय होती, सोशलिझमची होती. तेव्हा मूवीजमध्ये पण बघा आपला हिरो जो असतो ना, कोणतेही हिरोज बघा तेव्हा राजेश खन्ना किंवा अमिताभ बच्चन, शत्रुघ्न सिन्हा, हे जे सगळे हिरोज होते तेव्हाचे, ते सगळे कोण होते? लेबर क्लासचे होते, वर्किंग क्लासचे होते किंवा पीजन्स होते, शेतकरी होते. आणि जे रिच पीपल असायचे ते दे वर द विलन्स. वाय? बिकॉज वी हॅड अ सोशलिस्ट काइंड ऑफ आयडिओलॉजी ॲट दॅट टाइम. त्याफोर कुणाकडे प्रायव्हेट वेल्थ जास्त, इट इज लुक्ड ॲट ॲज समथिंग विच इज नॉट गुड फॉर द इकॉनॉमी. म्हणून त्यांना ते नेहमी विलन म्हणून दाखवायचे मूवीजमध्ये. प्राण, प्रेम चोपडा, ओके, हे विलन होते. त्याने पैसेवाले विलन होते कधी पण. गरीब विलन कोण नव्हतं तेव्हा. ओके. 1990 नंतर काय आहे? आर इकॉनॉमी हॅज मूव्ह टुवर्ड्स अ कॅपिटलिस्ट इकॉनॉमी, मोर टुवर्ड्स कॅपिटलिस्ट इकॉनॉमी. त्याफोर आय एस्टॅब्लिशिंग अ न्यू इंडस्ट्री. माझ्याकडे खूप पैसे आले. आय एम अ गुड प्लेयर इन द इकॉनॉमी टुडे. मी विलन नाही होत. कारण आत्ता आपले मूवीज बघा. ओके, आपल्या मूवीमध्ये हिरो कसा असतो? पैसेवाला. ओके, हेलिकॉप्टरमधून उतरणार, कोणतरी वाट बघणार आरती करायला. फाईन. सो आपले हिरो बघा सगळे पैसेवाले असतात. प्रेम, राहुल, कोणी गरीब नाही आहे आपले हिरो आत्ता. का? आपल्याकडे आता कॅपिटलिस्ट आयडिओलॉजी जास्त प्रॉमिनंट आहे. ओके, वी आर अ मिक्स्ड इकॉनॉमी बट वी आर मोर टिल्टेड टुवर्ड्स कॅपिटलिस्ट इकॉनॉमी. So that's the reason I say every now and then I keep on reiterating that you live the economy. आपण इकॉनॉमीमध्ये जगतोय, आपण इकॉनॉमी फील करतोय, पण वी आर नॉट अवेअर. आपण अवेअर नाही आहोत. ओके, वी आर नॉट अवेअर हाऊ दिस इकॉनॉमी इज मोर इन टू अस. फक्त मूवीज बघा, तुम्हाला सगळं सापडेल. फक्त मूवीज बघा. अजून एक सिम्पल दिसते का? हे पुढे आपण करणारच आहोत, 5 year प्लॅन्समध्ये आपण करणारच आहोत. पण अजून एक सिम्पल. 1990च्या आधी आपली इकॉनॉमी आहे ना, क्लोज्ड इकॉनॉमी होती. क्लोज्ड इकॉनॉमीमध्ये काय? बाहेरून नो मच फायनान्शियल रिलेशन, ट्रेड रिलेशन विथ द आउटसाइड वर्ल्ड. बाहेरून जास्त काही येणार नाही, आतून बाहेर काही जास्त जाणार नाही. क्लोज्ड इकॉनॉमी म्हणतात त्याला. ग्लोबलायझेशन नव्हतं, क्लोज्ड इकॉनॉमी होती. आता ग्लोबलायझेशन आहे, बाहेरून खूप वस्तू आत येत आहेत, आतून खूप वस्तू बाहेर जात आहेत. पण 1990च्या आधी आपल्याकडे काय होतं? क्लोज्ड इकॉनॉमी होती, जास्त क्लोज्ड इकॉनॉमी होती. मग तेव्हा बघा, विलनचं इकॉनॉमिक काम काय असायचं? स्मगलिंग. का स्मगलिंग? ऑफिशियली बाहेरून काही येत नाही, मग ते काय करायचे? स्मगल करायचे. त्यामुळे विलनची ऍक्टिव्हिटी काय असायची? स्मगलिंग असायची. लुक इन टू द पुन्हा मूवीजमध्ये बघा काय दिसतंय? स्मगलिंग. का? तेव्हा क्लोज इकॉनॉमी होती. मग ते वॉचेस, ओके, द रिच वॉचेस अँड ऑल दोज थिंग्स ते स्मगल करून आता आणायचे आणि विकायचे इंडियामध्ये. आता आहे का तसं काय? स्मगल करायची गरज नाही. व्हॉट एव्हर यू वॉन्ट इट्स अवेलेबल. नाही अवेलेबल, ऑनलाईन मागून घ्या. बिकॉज नाव आपली जी इकॉनॉमी आत्ता जी आहे ती काय आहे? ओपन इकॉनॉमी. आधी काय होती? क्लोज होती. आता ओपन इकॉनॉमी झाली. त्यामुळे आता विलनचं काम आहे का? हा, गोल्डचं स्मगलिंग ते एक थोडं आहे. गोल्ड बिकॉज इव्हन टुडे इट्स अ रिस्ट्रिक्टेड एंटिटी आणि डिमांड खूप आहे इंडियामध्ये. पण बाकीचं काय होतं का? कोणी वॉचेस, रॅडोचं वॉच स्मगल करणार का आज? नाही करणार. का नाही करणार? अवेलेबल आहे इथं, JM रोडला पुण्यात अवेलेबल आहे. घ्या ना इथून विकत. ओके, सो आता इम्पोर्टेड इथे काही असं राहिलेलं नाही. इम्पोर्टेड म्हणजे आधीच्या काळामध्ये इम्पोर्टेड या शब्दाला खूप मिनिंग होतं. आत्ता तसं काही राहिलं नाही. मी जर का म्हणलं माझ्याकडे नायकीचे शूज आहेत, इम्पोर्टेड नाही आहे, इथं JM रोडला मिळतं. शोरूम आहे नायकीचं, डेक्कनमध्ये, इथं पुण्यामध्ये मिळतं. ओके, सो नाव दॅट वर्ड इज ऑल्सो लॉस्ट द मिनिंग, इम्पोर्टेड. ओके, अँड नाव द ॲक्टिव्हिटी ऑफ विलन्स इज नॉट स्मगलिंग. आता ते लँड माफियामध्ये जास्त आहेत बघा. मूवीजमध्ये काय दिसतं? लँड माफिया. कारण लँडला खरंच तेवढी किंमत आली. ओके, आणि तेच आजूबाजूला चाललंय. सो जस्ट बी अवेअर, यू विल नो अंडरस्टँड इकॉनॉमी. जस्ट बी अवेअर काय होते आपल्या अवतीभोवती. त्यामुळे इकॉनॉमी बिकम्स व्हेरी सिम्पल. ओके, सो what are we? Mixed economy. Before 1990 also we were mixed economy, but more tilted towards socialist economy. After 1990 also we are mixed economy, but more tilted towards capitalism now. Okay, so that is known as a mixed economy. Fine. And lastly, you come to dual economy. Okay, lastly you come to dual economy. What is a dual economy? Okay, what is a dual economy? See, understand the difference between mixed and dual. In dual economy, traditional and modern means of production both are seen in the economy. Okay, in dual economy, traditional as well as modern means of production both are seen in the economy. That is known as dual economy. So, what do you mean by this? See, ॲग्रिकल्चर. इवन टुडे प्लोईंग द फील्ड, नांगरणे हे बैलाच्या जोड्याने होतं. ओके, 2 बैल असतात, त्यांना नांगर लावलेलं असतं, त्यांनी आपण नांगरतो. सो प्लोईंग इज डन विथ traditional method, in a very traditional method. But if in that field you get tomatoes, these tomatoes are then go into the food processing industry. They make tomato ketchup and they pack it in a very tight can. They pack it and everything. That is a modern means of production. So in our economy you have traditional as well as modern means of production, and this economy is known as dual economy. Kindly differentiate between mixed economy. What is mixed economy and what is dual economy? मुलं फसतात इथं. डुअलचं मिक्स करतात, मिक्सचं डुअल करतात. तसं नाही. मिक्स्ड इकॉनॉमी काय आहे? पब्लिक अँड प्रायव्हेट बोथ को एक्झिस्टिंग इन द इकॉनॉमी. सोशलिस्ट अँड कॅपिटलिस्ट. मिक्स्ड इकॉनॉमी. डुअल इकॉनॉमी काय आहे? ट्रेडिशनल मीन्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन अँड मॉडर्न मीन्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन बोथ being there in the economy. That's a dual economy. So now this is a factual data. This is a factual data you need to mug up. What is the contribution of different sectors to the GDP of India in 2025? Okay, kindly note down this factual data. Kindly note it down in your notebooks. And stand aside. Okay, so you have noted down the data. This is a contribution. What is the contribution of primary sector? 18.3. You will get this question in the exam. Okay, now this is with respect to 2025. If you are giving exam after next year or something like that, please see to it that we all update this data. Okay, so this is fact, mug it up. This is fact, mug it up. Okay, fine. So now okay, another fact. Okay, now this is directly taken from the economic survey. Another fact. What is the growth rate of different sectors? Okay, primary sector, if you look at 2025 to 2025-26, okay, this part is important. Primary sector, the growth rate is in 2024-25, it is 4.4. Secondary sector, manufacturing sector, the growth rate is 6.1. And tertiary sector, in the same period, tertiary sector, the growth rate is 7.2. आता हे असे काही फॅक्ट्स जे आहेत ना ते एक्झाम मध्ये येतात. कॉन्ट्रीब्युशन किती, व्हॉट इज द कॉन्ट्रीब्युशन ऑफ डिफरंट सेक्टर्स अँड व्हॉट इज द ग्रोथ रेट ऑफ डिफरंट सेक्टर्स, असे काही क्वेश्चन्स तुम्हाला एक्झाम मध्ये फॅक्च्युअल डेटा जिथं आहे तिथं मग इट अप. Wherever you have factual data, mug it up. Write it separately on a separate notebook and revise it again and again and again and again. Okay, so this is the factual data. Okay, now sectors of the economy. You also have sectors of the economy according to ownership. You know it. Public sector owned by the government, private sector owned by private people. Okay, cooperative sector, it is owned by a group of people but they are private persons. So cooperative sector is a special type of private sector wherein ownership is not with a single person, एका माणसाची ownership नाही, it is with a group of persons. Okay, आणि joint sector, whenever you have public plus private both doing something economic activity, that is a joint sector. For example, Maruti Suzuki is a Japanese company, Maruti is Indian government. Both have come together to manufacture the car, so this is a joint sector. Okay, so you have, according to ownership, you have private, public, cooperative आणि joint sector. Okay, cooperative आणि joint sector. Okay, so this is according to ownership. Okay, fine. So what have we done today? आपण काय केले? We have understood, okay, we have understood the basic concepts in the economy. Basic concepts जे आहेत ना ते आपण अंडरस्टँड केले. Okay, we have understood the basic concepts in the economy and as such this becomes a foundation of your economy. तर आजचं लेक्चर महत्त्वाचं आहे. त्यातले 1-2 क्वेश्चन एक्झाममध्ये जे येतात ते मी तुम्हाला सांगितले कोणते क्वेश्चन्स एक्झाममध्ये येतात. सो दिस क्वेश्चन्स, okay, they will be there in the exams. Okay, so this is the basic foundation of the subject. Go through it, revise it. Okay, fine. You will be having access to this lecture. या लेक्चरला तुम्हाला ॲक्सेस असणार आहे ॲपवर येते. Okay, fine. And the slides whatever we have used, they will be uploaded on your Google Classrooms. Okay, so या स्लाइड्सचा पण ॲक्सेस तुम्हाला असणार आहे गुगल क्लासरूमला. ओके, नोट्सही तुम्हाला मिळतील आणि हे लेक्चर्स पण राहणार आहेत तुमच्या व्ह्युअरशिपसाठी. कन्सेप्ट आहे, अंडरस्टँड करा, स्वतःच्या शब्दात लिहा. फॅक्ट आहे, वेगळ्या नोटबुकमध्ये लिहून ठेवा आणि पाठ करत बसा. काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही. इकॉनॉमीमध्ये तुम्ही एकदम मस्तपैकी मार्क्स मिळेल. इकॉनॉमीची भीती बाळगायची गरज नाही आहे. कन्सेप्ट समजायला पाहिजे. वर्ड ऑफ कॉशन, एकच प्रॉब्लेम नाही म्हणता येणार त्याला, बट एकच हर्डल जे आहे ना इकॉनॉमीचं ते एकच आहे की इकॉनॉमीचे वेगवेगळे टॉपिक्स आहेत ना एकमेकांना कनेक्टेड आहेत. त्यामुळे तुम्ही वेगळे टॉपिक हा नाही शिकला तर चालेल का, फक्त हे केलं तर चालेल का, असं नाही होणार. सगळेच करावे लागतील आणि सगळे एकमेकांची लिंक्ड आहेत. तेवढा एकच फक्त काळजी घ्या इकॉनॉमीची. रेस्ट इकॉनॉमी इज व्हेरी सिम्पल. ओके, फाईन. सो नेक्स्ट वीक ऑनवर्ड्स we'll be having more lecture on economy. This week now you'll also have live lectures with respect to science, aptitude, polity, Marathi. तुम्हाला हे लेक्चर चालू आहेत. Okay, live lectures. Okay, so I hope you have understood. We'll stop over here today. Okay, see you again in the next lecture. Thank you everybody.